Welcome back to the Culture of Currency, where we're bringing you a couple of the top stories this week. Of course, I have my Texas gold out here, bringing some solidarity to Texas as the floods are leaving some devastation all over the place. Obviously, they're not the only place hurting in the world, but they're the ones that are right in front of me as I live in Texas as well. We're going to get to the news, the things that have affected the markets this week. We're going to get to your medals, and we're going to wish you a happy weekend. Hopefully, you're going to watch the World Cup later. But as you know, the lights burned late in the East Room this week, and the voice from my television screen belonged to the president. It was an address to the nation that was part history lesson, part intelligence briefing, and entirely a bombshell. A newly unclassified trove of documents, many of which I have read myself, you can find them at whitehouse.gov, show secrets long kept in the shadows held by intelligence and, unfortunately, past presidents. These were laid bare before the American people. The papers reveal what Washington had debated behind closed doors for years, that a foreign giant had its thumb firmly on the scale. The documents show that Beijing carried out a massive compromise of U.S. voter files, with internal intelligence reports confirming a distinct effort by China to denigrate and meddle in our electoral process, desperate to keep our current president, Donald Trump, out of the Oval Office. The White House calls it an unmasking of the deep state cover-up, as intelligence held this from the meetings with the president. Critics, of course, call it old news, but for the American voter, you and I, it's a stark reminder of just how many eyes are watching our ballot boxes from across the sea. And now, a look from our northern border, where the air is thick and the tempers are hotter than the brush. It seems that years now, the summer winds have carried a gray, choking canopy into the American Midwest and Northeast, billowing smoke from the uncontrolled Canadian wildfires. But this week, the patience of the Potomac finally ran out. President Trump took to the airways and the internet, declaring the drifting pollution a willful negligence and unacceptable invasion of American lungs. The solution he has is Washington will be adding the multi-billion-dollar cost of that polluting directly onto the tariffs Canada pays on its goods. Ottawa, of course, is firing back, calling it a climate crisis shared by all. But the American position is clear. If you won't manage your forest, you'll pay at the port. On Wall Street, the markets reacted exactly how you'd expect a nervous market to react to talk of trade wars and election interference, and let alone the real war that's happening in the Middle East. Big tech, of course, took a bruising, and the major indices spent the week doing a jitter on the trading floor. But where there's uncertainty, there's always the ancient refuge of silver and gold. Investors were fleeing the equity storms, and some of them came back to precious metals, which is what led to gold holding up its part of the bargain, $26, stabilizing at $4,033 an ounce, silver catching its breath and kind of holding firm, settling at $56 itself. Up in New York, New Jersey, the world has gathered for the grand finale of the World Cup. This Sunday, it's a clash of titans, the flawless and controversial run of Argentina against the ironclad defense of Spain. Millions of eyes are on the pitch, but even the beautiful game couldn't escape the week's headlines. Organizers are keeping a nervous eye on the sky, as the very same Canadian wildfire smoke that threatens to delay the biggest kickoff on the planet is there out in front. And now for a little sunshine. Let's look at these markets. Let's look at these metals and see with your own eyes the things that we're seeing. Here we have the Dow Jones Industrial. As noted before, a bit of a jittery week. 52,146 is your number. That's down 400 points. We, of course, are only about 10 days out of an all-time high on the Dow Jones, as you can see right here. So it's holding steady right here, almost as if it's waiting for good news to shoot back up. We, of course, have the S&P down 76 points. We're a little over a month, actually. A little over a month. The second of last month is our all-time high. As you can see, it's right there. Here we are here. So it's kind of slowly moving in the right direction, but not a whole lot of hurry there. NASDAQ is the one that seems to just be all over the place, kind of like an EKG over here. 1.4% down this week. You see it right there. A lot of that being on Friday. And as you noticed, Friday was the day after the president's talk. And I think if I were investing, I would be wondering, is there going to be impending trade war on China? Because with the situation that was laid out and with the history of how the president kind of acts with things like this, I'm wondering if China will be targeted, as it seems that the implications of what they have done very well could be something that warrants a presidential retaliation. So I don't know, but I could definitely see that being on the table. As noted before, nothing crazy happening this week in silver or gold. Gold is down 1.79% on the week. Nothing too dramatic, kind of holding steady. And silver's down 3% on the week because it was roughly around $60 an ounce. Like we said, it's about $56 an ounce. So if you need to go buy some silver, it's not a bad time to do that. But that is what we have for you today. I'd love to know in the comments below what you think of the indictments laid by President Trump over China. Having read the documents myself, part of it is shocking, part of it is probably what we all expected, but that'll be interesting as that kind of all unravels. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.